Still not an excuse. And which blog is the blog?
If you're going to read on a fitness website, can I have an orgasm during a gym? Then I'm going to read that article for hell yes. And the very first sentence was yes. So I didn't even have to read the article. It's just I just learned it was called a corgasm.
You want no details, no follow-up.
The best thing I ever did at a gym was fart so loud that everyone thought there was a trumpet serenade. So, hey, listen up.
Or mariachi band.
Welcome to the Backpack Show.
Hello, where we sometimes forget we have a show to do and read blogs.
Yeah, let's do a show. So we brought on Dibs because we just talked to Dibs' partner, Ray, and from Origami, Origami Underpants. It's not called Origami Underpants.
Origami Customs.
Jesus. I have like the memory of an Etch-a-Sketch. But I do see that my biological mother, Diane Brogan, and her husband, Steve, are here. Mother's Day.
Otherwise known as your father.
Oh, my father. Yeah, that's right. The guy who gave me birth. So we're going to talk to Dibs. We're going to find out about fitness and health and training, and also for people of different shapes, sizes, genders, and preferences. There's a lot.
Hi, everyone. Tim Kitzrow from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, welcoming you to The Backpack Show. Your hosts, Chris Brogan, Kerry Gargone, Boom Shakalaka.
Backpack Show.
Who was it today? Who did you look at today?
So you've wandered into a gym. You've had that moment where you're like, am I where I should be? I have a very rough and tumble gym about 30 footsteps from my house. John Cena works out here when he's in town. And the first time I walked in, the first thing I noticed towards the back of the very small, smelly gym was a Osama bin Laden gun target with lots of bullets in it. I was like, I am in a strange place right now. Like, this isn't Planet Fitness. There's no bowl full of Tootsie Rolls. We're effed. So
it's not like you and Osama were buddies, but I mean, I get it. It's weird.
No. I certainly didn't support his agenda, and I have a bunch of friends who would have been very happy to see that. But it was.
I have lots of questions, but before we get to them, you have a few sponsors to thank.
You are so good at this. What do you run a show? Hey, you want to make a show just like this, but better? You could. Not really a high bar. You can make a show. Just go to cbrogan.net/StreamYard. You could get your own StreamYard account. It would be so good. Whack. Hey, would you like a .online domain? You can get one. 99 cents. That's American money, though. 99 US cents for your own .online domain for an entire year. Just go to SueBrogan.net/online and just put in the code Chris any which way you want. Doesn't matter.
No, you have to put in the code Chris in all caps if you would like the discount. I don't know why. SueBrogan.net/online.
Because whoever made their codes is a special and wonderful person. Happy Mother's Day to you, Leslie.
Mother's Day this weekend.
It is Mother's Day.
You know what you should do for Mother's Day is send me more syrup for your Mother's Day.
Yeah, because somebody's already threw their syrup. But let's talk about how to work that syrup off.
I have a teenager who went to put it on a Belgian waffle, and like it was in a mason jar, so that pour was real heavy. Just went.
Listen, if I had extra syrup on a plate, it's just going up. So let's talk about the other side of that, and let's talk about fitness. Hi, Dibs. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here, and you're going to have to help us. We have a syrup issue. We've
I had a lot of maple syrup for breakfast this morning, and I don't think you can't have an issue with syrup. I guess I'm Canadian now because I believe in that.
That's kind of one of the requirements. Maple syrup, poutine, and a few other things. Montreal area, I thought. So maybe just disdain for anyone who can't speak a little bit of French. So
I'm not there yet.
You don't need to send a bigger jar. Leslie, you just need to send a smaller jar with a little pour thing that helps people like me.
Look, Leslie, she has envy that she didn't get the same really awesome.
The sexy bottle? Yeah.
A little bit. That's all we're talking about. Dibs, as I was sifting around dibsfitness.com, one of the things that I had noted was there was a whole article on how to wear a binder in such a way that you don't hurt yourself in the process. And my oldest child is a trans child, a non-binary trans child. And it didn't even dawn on me. So we were on some treadmills kind of rolling around, and then we went over and we were just going to start the awareness of machines and things like that for a simple form. And they said, I don't know if I could do this today. My binder's kind of a mess. And I didn't even think about that. This is kind of why there's the Dibs Fitness, right?
Yeah. I mean, like there's a lot of things that go into moving your body, being a trans person, and like physical, emotional, like just how you interact in society that people who are not trans don't think about. And then when you're a baby trans, when you're first coming out and you don't know what to wear, how to wear the thing, for how long do you wear the thing? Are people going to notice this? Like, what do I want this to look like? There's a lot that goes into it. And it affects your self-esteem a lot. And then that plus trying to navigate the fitness industry is quite daunting for a lot of people.
That's an important point. So we kind of dove right in and talked about trans issues because Chris and I both have trans kids, and for us it's top of mind. But fitness can be intimidating, like gyms in particular, whether you're chunky, which like a lot of people starting out going to a gym for the first time are, or basically if you're different in any way from what society holds up as the ideal standard of beauty. So how are you making it clear that your fitness place is different, that your coaching is different?
Yeah, well, I train people online and in person. I do classes and one-on-ones at a few different gyms around Montreal. And when I'm in Sydney, in Australia, I work in person as well there. And so basically in my classes, I don't emphasize anything about changing the way your body looks aesthetically in the classes. Like, I'm not there making you lift things or run on a treadmill and saying, think about that burger that you ate yesterday. It's all about confidence, feeling strong, feeling empowered to go to the gym and to know how to use the equipment, to know that you're not going to hurt yourself, and to make a community with the people there around you, and to be friends with them, and to lift each other up and get a little bit competitive with each other. And yeah, not think that you're better than anyone else just because you are a certain build, or you can lift more than them, or you can run faster than them. It's all about celebrating everyone's wins equally and not putting anyone on a pedestal for any particular reason.
Leslie's
it's not immediate. Oh, very
Hi,
nice.
Dean.
Hi, Dean. You're not immediately going there, but I just found my program where I could get better thick glutes and thighs. So, I mean, you are helping, because that's one of those things that people ask. There's that Zinko, what is his name? Zinko, the guy who started Men's Health. He had this thing that he learned early on, which is if he puts out the magazine Men's Health and doesn't anywhere on the starting, that splash of info at the front page, the cover, I mean, if they didn't write the word six-pack abs, they would sell 30% fewer issues of the magazine. So they would have to write articles every single issue, like which Thanksgiving dinner can you eat and still have six-pack abs and things like that. Otherwise people would be, so they would do a nutrition episode, but talk as if it were a six-pack abs thing. Do you find that in your process? Like you said, I don't emphasize any particular thing because, again, you don't want to freak people out. Mm-hmm. But do you find that there's ways to kind of get people in by talking specifically about a thing that they have, or a particular goal?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like how Ray was saying, how they stopped putting a lot of pictures of them, or feminine people in bikinis, on their Instagram, like they got fewer likes, right? So if I stop talking about how to get shredded, and this secret pill will save your, will get rid of your tummy fat and fix your life, that is an issue. And yes, it creates less traffic. So the way that I've put a spin on it is, like, one of my most viral videos was about how I can do a sit-up with about 50 pounds or more over my head with straight arms for reps, and I don't have six-pack abs. And I was explaining in that post how you don't have to be, like, having visible abs doesn't equal strength. It just means you have a low body fat percentage, which usually means less strength. So I find that by debunking myths and helping people figure out the truth and getting behind those marketing tactics that old school fitness influencers use. People are really interested in that. And I do a lot of education on my social media channels. And I think people really appreciate when I dive deep into those myths.
So Cody Wooten has joined us. He's everybody's favorite gym companion. Morning, Cody, in the squat squad.
Hi, Cody.
I'm just featuring some of the merch. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I'm just thinking, how did you make a space for yourself in fitness? Fitness as an industry is pretty saturated. Like you can't turn around on YouTube without finding another fitness expert. So how do you make a business out of it?
It's really about finding a niche, which, like any other business. Like I'm lucky enough to be to have lived experience to share with my my followers and the people who want to train with me. But I don't just train trans people. I train all sorts of people, and I think people come to me because I believe in health at every size. People come to me because I have my adaptive and inclusive trainer certification, so I can train people with physical and cognitive disabilities. I sort of, I guess, my tagline is fitness for everyone, which doesn't sound very niche, but because I believe in all these little things that the mainstream fitness industry doesn't, it sort of helped. And I also created one of the world's first top surgery preparation programs. That's the program you can buy on my website. So like a little e-course. And I'm currently, I'm almost finished doing my top surgery recovery one for people to start doing stretches and mobility drills after surgery. So there's nothing else really out there like that. So you have to find the tiniest niche of your niche and what you're passionate about. And I didn't have that when I had my surgery, and I found the hole in the market, and now I'm filling it, and people are happy.
You definitely use a lot of muscles you don't even realize you have until after you have a surgery of some kind.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, it hurts to just move.
Yeah,
Hi,
exactly.
Lori. Dean wants to know, can we get rid of underwear packaging that doesn't show a guy with ripped abs and 0% body fat that only represents 0.0000001% of the population? You're probably going high there with that percentage. Yeah.
There's, more with the online advertising and like, but not so much on packaging yet. But I think we're getting there in the mainstream.
It was funny to me when there's that clothing brand Sophie, SOFFE, and all of a sudden it was just like kicking around working out clothes, and all of a sudden like teenage girls are wearing their shorts and stuff, and they came around and were like, oh, I guess we should like on purpose maybe market to young women. They're wearing our stuff anyway. So that became, so maybe advertising will change because the people using people's fitness things will change.
Exactly.
And Leslie says, seriously, who looks like that? Oh, the really skinny people Dean was talking about.
Lori Joe said that, but yeah.
Lori Joe, sorry.
Dibs, when we had Ray on, one of the things that I was surprised, I had to like kind of shift how I was interviewing, because I thought I was going to talk to Ray about their underwear company, and I was really talking about business advocacy and things like that, because that's sort of a mission of Ray's. You are probably thinking this. I don't think you could be partnered with someone that intense about things and not have it filter in. Where does your advocacy go, or like, what are you trying to do besides help somebody, move a kettlebell up and down?
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I fell in love with Ray. I really loved their outlook on business. And I loved how like they have a really good work-life balance. Like they spend a good amount of time on work, and they spend a good amount of time chilling out, and they're just very calm about it all. But I think I'm really helping. I'm helping people not just lift a kettlebell, but understand their self-worth is more than what they look like or what they can do, and that fitness shouldn't be looked at as a chore. It should be looked at as something that is helping us live life in a more easy way, in a more comfortable way. Like it's going to help you age more gracefully. Everyone says age gracefully, but it really does. It helps you to not have to go to the emergency room if you accidentally like miss a step and land on your hip, or it will help you. Like one thing that I really love is one of my clients told me once that they realized just sitting up and getting out of bed is easier because they have a really low bed frame. And it's just the really small things in life that I show people how to appreciate, and they show me how to appreciate, that I think is really special.
So what is a sign that you're maybe not with the right trainer? Like, are there red flags where people are like, uh-oh, I don't feel so good.
Yeah, I think if your trainer doesn't really have a comprehensive intake form questionnaire, if they don't really ask you anything about your goals or your life or your previous health injuries or your health history, if they just skip right into doing the thing, that's a red flag. If they only want you to set a goal that is aesthetic about losing weight or somewhere, or as soon as they get out those skin caliper fat pinchy things, like get out of there. Yeah, or if you say, oh, I can't do this, this hurts, and they can't help you find an alternative exercise or change the movement a little bit to reduce your pain, then that's also a red flag. So it's good when they accommodate you, they listen to you, and they care about your goals.
One thing I saw too is that you have worked in a lot of different directions with your certs. So you have, standard fitness certifications, like you said. You have your adaptive certification, pre and postnatal. So you could, when there's just a fetus in there doing benches for time, you can help with that sort of a thing. So it seems like you've kind of tried to cover the gamut of ways that someone might go after you. But one of the things I also wanted to get into after that, it was that you're basically like that sort of hair club for men thing in the old days. I'm not only the president, I'm also a client. You're like, hey, I went through a bunch of top surgeries. I had an ACL replaced. I've done a bunch of things. Do you find that helps as far as you're advocating and getting people to choose to be part of your programs?
For sure. Yeah. I think people just want to feel like they can have someone that relates to them, that knows what they went through, that understands how they're feeling and what their body is going through. People really appreciate that, and I think we'll hold it up higher in weight when they're choosing who to go with, because I've had that lived experience, and I've done the thing and I've survived it, and I've come out the other side, and I'm doing all these cool things with my body, and they're like, okay, well, if Dibs could do that, then surely they know how I can rehabilitate myself to do X, Y, and Z. So it's a really good, it's a good strength to have. And I mean, I don't like that I've hurt myself so much. It's not been fun, but I guess it's good for business. So I should just go back to the skate park every week.
You have had a lot of hobbies. So you mentioned right on your website that you have ADHD. And so you've tried and discarded a lot of hobbies, and some of them have stuck and some of them haven't. The skate park thing, the roller derby thing.
Yeah.
Just gonna like walk us through your journey quickly on your hobby front.
Okay. When I was a little kid, soccer, my background is Croatian. The Eastern Europeans love their soccer. So played a lot of soccer. That's how I tore my ACL when I was an adult. I'd done baseball, softball, netball, which is a sport in the Pacific Islands. Thankfully, I didn't hurt myself doing that. I've done tap dancing. I cycle a lot with my, I used to cycle with my dog running next to me. I hate running. I've done motocross. It's a sport. You get real sweaty. I drum, very big forearms. I think that's where that came from. I don't know. I've done a lot of stuff. I did a powerlifting competition. I got into that for a season, just general strength training and calisthenics. I have some gymnastics rings behind me. I don't know. I always say I'll try anything 3 times. Here to go.
So do you think that ADHD is a benefit then when you want to become a trainer? Because you'll have tried a whole bunch of stuff and you'll have that perspective to bring people.
Yeah, well, when I was in high school, my careers counselor was really not good at his job. And he just told everyone to do what he thought would make money. And I was doing a lot of research when I was a teenager about like, what do I want to do in life? Like, what is going to be good for my brain? Because I didn't know back then. I was late diagnosed with ADHD. So I felt different, but I didn't know like why I was struggling a lot of the time. And I was doing all this research, and I did all these personality quizzes, and basically a lot of things that came up were physical jobs, or social jobs like hairdresser, trainer, beautician, laborer, landscaper, whatever, things where I could use my body and or talk to people all day. So I think that, a lot of trainers that I know have ADHD, and it really helps because you're constantly juggling a million things in your head during a session, especially during a group class where you have to like see a lot of things and basically see the future and know, okay, that person might hurt themselves here. That person needs to try a different weight. Next week I'll change this circuit to look like this. So I think I do have that, ADHD superpower, as people say, to really complement my career.
We have a couple of questions. Cody wants to know your go-to HIIT exercises.
Mm-hmm. I really like ball slams, but not just in the traditional sense. I like a lot of ball slam, like with a med ball that are different variations. So like there's something called a rainbow slam, which is very self-explanatory. I like box jumps and like really tall box jumps where you have to use your hands and like do a little gorilla jump sideways. I like using the Bosu ball. I really don't like cardio, but HIIT is great because you have to do cardio for like 20 or 30 seconds at a time and then go to the next thing.
Like the hokey pokey, but really fast.
Yeah, basically.
Dean says, do you have any diet counseling or is it strictly fitness?
I don't do diet counseling. I'm in the formal sense of the word, I'm not qualified for that. So I don't think I deserve to talk to people about that. But if my clients want to talk to me about food, then I will counsel them in that way of like sort of talking them through their decisions and what I gently would recommend, but I'm not out there making food plans because I'm not qualified to. But I always tell people one of the big tips that people appreciate the most is don't think about removing from your diet, think about adding in. So think about drinking more water, trying a different vegetable at your grocery store every week or every month, something weird that you've never cooked before. Add in more fats, like healthy fats, nuts, seeds, avocado, coconut oil. Add in more protein if you want to feel fuller for longer. So it sort of helps you not think that something's being taken away from you or that you have to do this hard challenge by thinking, oh, I get to try this and I'm going to add this and this is going to be fun and I'll experiment with this. I find it's a much more healthy mindset and people have better results when I tell them to try something new rather than you can't have coffee and don't put a sugar in your latte and you can't have milk and you can't have your chocolate at night. That tends to always go south.
Yeah, I don't want to call Dibs out or anything like that, Dean, but look, my kind of six-pack is a collection of donuts. So I just want to point out that you probably don't want a lot of fitness advice from someone who has a donut T-shirt in their collection of merch.
What? I love.
So
yes, I do. I do want fitness advice from that person. Totally Lori Jo agrees. Excellent advice. Deprivation doesn't work. I will say though, you're sort of backing into, it's not deprivation, but backing into not eating as much junk because if you're full of those healthier fats, and high fiber stuff and whatever, like you're just not going to have the room or probably cravings for it.
That's where the idea.
That shirt, by the way.
Well, it's available on my website. Head to dibsfitness.com. It's in the shop. You can get it in different colors too.
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. I mean, but also like I have a couple of clients that are just still do the thing with the adding, but then they want to have their little sweet thing for dessert or whatever. I'm like, just go for it. Go out and walk around in summer and go to the ice cream store and get an ice cream. Like go get your croissant on the way home from work. Like you can have those little things. It ends up being worse when we're holding them back because then you go and like binge a lot of them at once. And then you're gonna have to go to the dentist because you're gonna have holes in your teeth like me.
Well, that took a dark turn.
Listen, like, everything in moderation, I'm not out here telling people how to live their lives, but that's why, and that's the other thing is that, that I'm just going to segue now into like how I believe like health, it needs to be a holistic lens, right? I don't want to also, this is slightly dark, but my dad died when he was 44 because he had heart disease. And that's sort of what got me into fitness. Like I didn't know he was sick. He was just living his life. And one day he went to bed and he didn't wake up. His heart gave out. And it just really caught me off guard, caught my whole family off guard. And, but it made sense when I looked at the bigger picture of things because he had really poor mental health for a long time. My parents got divorced when I was 5 and he just spiraled after that. So he was suffering from depression, bipolar. And because of that, he wasn't very social. He had no social circles. He was inside a lot, barely walked the dog anymore. was pretty sedentary, lost his job. So was always at home and just eating takeout or whatever quick thing he could find that, I don't think he had the energy to cook. But I hate chopping vegetables. And so like it's about the bigger picture. And I was reading an article yesterday about how people who have no social circle or no social communication throughout the week have quite a significantly higher chance of dying early. And they weren't even looking about fitness or any movement stuff. It's just literally about that social aspect of their lives. So fitness has to be looked at in a much wider lens. And sometimes if your client is doing the workout, they're like, I'm eating really well. Well, what are the other aspects that go into seeing your results? Are you sleeping? If you're sleeping 8 hours, okay, are you getting good quality sleep, or are you drinking before you go to bed just to knock yourself out? Are you seeing friends? Are you doing things that you like to do? Are you seeing a therapist if there's something that you need to unpack? So there's so many different things that we need to look at that go into being quote unquote healthy that I think a lot of fitness influencers just don't even mention. They're just like, you need to do yoga and meditate and lift 7 times a week and you'll be fine,
And get my $299 mini course.
Yeah, or even more
Lori
than that.
Joe went to get your t-shirt. And Dean says, donuts for the win.
I love donuts.
We stop it, Christopher.
I think it's a great article, and I think it covers the
Yellow card Brogan. What else is new?
Listen, Dibs did it. I just highlighted it. Dibs, you mentioned something shortly before dipping into the mental health, and I think it kind of relates because you've set out to build a very inclusive experience. You've built your mission and vision, reminding me a lot of my friend Mark Fisher, who I hope you know already, but if not, you'll after you read this, you'll be like, oh yeah, Mark's my dude. Mark's gym says we help people who hate gyms find a fitness home they actually love. You can't guess from that photo, but Mark's kind of like a theater kind of boy in New York City. So completely and utterly a cishet straight, which he actually is. But, his gym has about 180 dildos laying around. So that gives you a sense of how fun it can be there. And it is exactly.
Is it like a take one, leave one situation?
No.
What is?
But,
take one, leave two.
It's a lot. It's a lot harder to take yourself seriously on a massive pile of kettlebell swings when there's a bunch of rubbery dongs on the wall. So what I'm bringing that up is that I think that fitness in gyms is still a heavily gendered sport. It's either like come to this manly man gym or come to this very woman gym where we will beat you for looking at our women. But what there isn't is like who aren't in either of those binaries. Can you talk a little bit about that mission? And do you find yourself kind of aligning with people like Mark and others?
Yeah, I definitely think the more people in this industry that are doing similar things to me, the better. I have a lot of friends that have opened gyms in the last 3 years, 4 years. There is Pony Club Gym in Melbourne, Australia that is doing amazing work. And yeah, they have that similar vibe. It's just like, it's everyone can come. They have this massive wall of rules when you walk in, and it's basically like, don't be an asshole, otherwise you're out. Same with my friend Heidi, who opened Infinity Movement in Verdun in Montreal. She has been open for just over a year now, and it's that same vibe. Like, everyone come in. If you're being a douchebag, well, so sorry, you're out of here. Am I allowed to say words? Oh, you found it.
Yes, please say words.
Yeah, say words like that. Like douchebag. So yeah, I love, and I'm very active on social media, and every time I find another gym that's doing a similar thing, I send them a follow and I say hello, and we need a lot more like that. And I've had people ask me if I do like women's only classes, and I understand where that comes from, and for people to feel safe and comfortable. But I find that when I have a mixed group of people, there's just something so special about that. And how everyone feels safe with each other. And maybe that's the only mixed group they want to be in. If it's my class, I don't know, it makes me feel special that there's some sort of magic about it. But I've had group classes before where there have been people between the ages of 20 and 75, and people like cis men, cis women, trans people, non-binary people, like, and just all having a gay old time together, lifting things, and really not, just not worrying about what the other ones, if the other one's looking at them, or if, it's just this magic that I love, and why I really enjoy group classes. Probably is one of my favorite things about my job to do, because bringing people together, and I think Ray really enjoys that too. It's something that we get along with. It's just, we love bringing people together and you have a common goal, and yeah, it feels awesome.
Steve says fitness is about the whole self. Love that perspective. And Cody wants to know what you're listening to when you work out. Podcast, Lamb of God, Reba, video game focus music, the Donkey Kong underwater music. I don't know. He's off the rails there, but
it really depends on the mood I'm in. But I alternate very chaotically on different weeks through, like, I have a heavy metal playlist that goes from like Slipknot, Psychosocial to, you know, Disturbed and Rob Zombie and all that sort of stuff, to ABBA workouts and house, techno house. So it really depends on how I'm feeling.
So I was just thinking that my kid told me that I am like all allistic people as opposed to autistic, which means I nod a lot, well, because I'm agreeing with what you're saying. So if the nodding is excessive, it's because I'm super into what you're talking about. We have to ask you, we have to do two things. We have to pick a person of the day, which Chris always does.
Yeah.
And we have to ask you what a big question.
Oh, we didn't ask you. We forgot to prep you for this, Dibs. Wait a minute.
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
All right. First, I have to go to Cody, who is going to probably start doing ball slams right after this. So you're a person of the day.
Slam those balls, Cody.
Balls. Yep, we just did it. Dibs, we totally forgot to ask you. This is one question we've asked everybody we've ever had on the show, from Sir Mix-a-Lot to Mark Fisher. We've asked the question, what goes in your backpack? Now, this can be something physical, like a hamburger. It could be something metaphorical, like hope for the future. Carrie, what's something that Dibs could have put into the backpack?
Extra set of teeth. DJ Cumberbund
from
YouTube. You never know.
Actually, with all these surgeries, Dibs might, benefit from an extra set of teeth. You never know when it could happen. What's something metaphorical you could throw in a backpack?
Oh, kindness. Ariel Helvetica, burlesque performer, put kindness in the backpack.
Well, Dibs, you've got to add something to the backpack, something either physical or metaphorical. It could be anything, really, really anything. What would you like to add to the backpack today?
I think if the backpack is for your business ventures, then the only thing that I would put in my backpack is the audacity of a cis man.
Love it.
Yes.
Like, a cis man with a podcast.
Yeah, you got to apply. If you have like zero qualifications for the job, you have to apply for the job, obviously, because who else could do it better than you? And you need to be paid 6 figures for that job, no matter what. So
that's a stat I quote quite often, is that there's this stat out there that I don't remember where it existed, that basically if there's a job opening, a man with 11% qualifications will often apply and like can figure it out, and someone who is female would identify and say 96% qualified, they would not say yes. Mm-hmm. So 11% for a cis man, 96% for a cis female. And so I think that I don't know where it comes from. I don't know what, I think society has done a lot to make that true, but that seems to be things. So I like it. I like the audacity of a cis man as a backpack addition. Yeah. So Lori Jo says you're the coolest.
Lori, you're the coolest. Let's hang out.
Oh yeah, can we? Because now, like, can we? If I'm in the United States, can I take your classes?
Well, there's classes. Listen, I have to go back to the gym, but there's classes that you do online, right?
I'm not going to your gym. They got targets on the wall.
Yeah, so you don't want to go to a gym.
You go to the Dibs class.
Targets. Go to the timetable page on my website, and there you go. That's my Zoom class. Mondays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's very fun. Saturdays are in person, but my Monday class is online. And yeah, if you want to come to that, check it out, where you don't need any equipment. You just come with a smile on your face. You can be sad if you want, but you'll be smiling by the end of the class. And yeah, we have a lot of fun, and it's only about 45 minutes. We warm up, we do a couple of AMRAPs, which just means as many rounds as possible, and then we stretch, and we laugh a lot, and there's a lot of dogs.
Cody's, oh, I love dogs. Cody said, one time I applied to be an endangered white rhino trainer at the Nashville Zoo. And Lori Joe says, online, I'm in.
Yeah, come and get
There
it.
we go. So we've got some. So yeah, I applied to be an endangered trainer, which is evidently a very different thing. My grandfather was very into bodybuilding, and he had one of those early days benches that people used to buy from like Sears. And there's nothing like a nice rusty bench to go into the garage and move a big piece of sketchy iron up and down. And
Get
so
that tetanus shot.
one time I was trying to show off my bench pressing skills, and right as I got to the apex of getting the weight up past the hitch, then what happened?
Lots of guys live just fine with just one of those. Doesn't even matter.
Well, that's when I learned that he liked certain